In this video, I'll show you how to use the automatic conveyor feeder, which I've installed on my new xTool P2 laser. After a few days testing it, I can say that personally, it's a very interesting accessory which lets you get the most from this laser. I've thought about doing a project where I can test out the accuracy of the engraving and the cutting speed when using this automatic conveyor feeder, and finally I decided to make a relatively big picture with a projection of our planet. I've seen it many times in museums, but I've never found one available for purchase. I used a black tinted MDF base where I've glued on the 24 gores of this projection, cut from 0.6mm thick birch veneer. I have to say I love the end result and the combination of the birch gores on a black board. If you're interested in doing this project, you'll find a link in the video description where you can download the vectors for cutting for free from my website. Before working with the big sheets, I ran a test with a small piece to find out the required parameters for the laser. When that was done, I thought about trying to curve the gores by bending the scores I made on the sides a little. As you can see, it worked out pretty well. I think that with some modifications, I could make an Earth globe with this method. It would be an interesting project, and I already have an idea to strengthen the sheet and achieve a sturdier sphere. If I see that you're interested in the comments, I'll try to do it. I've always been interested in the idea of projecting the world globe on a 2D plane, and the distortions you get depending on the method used. To do this project, I needed a vector map of a projection, and luckily I found one on Jason Davis's interesting website, where you can see lots of projections and some of their history. I like the interrupted sinusoidal projection. Jason created a curious simulation of this projection where you can divide Earth into however many gores you like, up to 24. I messaged him and he kindly sent me a vector projection that I can use with the laser. This is the vector file, after making some modifications to make the job easier. Before moving on, I'd like to show you how to use the affiliate link you'll find in the video description, which allows you to get a discount when buying this laser. The link will take you to xTool's site, and there you have to find the laser you're most interested in this case the xTool P2. As you can see, it comes in several purchase packs with different accessories. The first one only includes the laser. The second pack adds a lifting base so that you can work with taller workpieces, and a rotary tool to engrave cylinder, sphere, or ring-shaped pieces. The third one includes the automatic conveyor feeder that you can see in this video, and the last pack adds an air purifier on top of all this. To begin this project, I need to set up the base to place underneath the laser. It's a simple process if you follow the manufacturer's instructions. After placing the base, I have to remove the grid slats. Thanks to this base, you can engrave taller workpieces. The base is also indispensable to use the automatic conveyor feeder. To install it, I only have to lower the laser tray and fasten 4 bolts. This accessory comes with 4 square tubes with wheels, so that you can support workpieces. The support base can be extended to achieve a work surface of almost 3 meters. To do this, you have to add more tubes with wheels. Now I select the best face of the 3 birch sheets needed for this engraving. I'll use a cutter to make their sides straight. If you're going to do this project, try to use wood sheets that don't tend to warp too much. I use masking tape to join the 3 sheets together. I need to glue the sheets to another piece of board, which I'll use as a base for cutting, but I'll do it in such a way that I can unstick them easily and without breaking them. I thought about using this 12-hour repositionable spray adhesive. I've never used it in this way and I hope it works. I apply it on the base and glue on the wood sheets. Now that it's easier, I'll sand down the faces of the sheets. I place the piece which I'll engrave on the feeder. I can align this piece with the base of the automatic conveyor feeder using some lines which are already drawn on it. After that, I have to turn a knob to adjust the height of the small wheels on the feeder and apply enough force on the workpiece so that I can move it. Now I open the laser's program. I select feeder as the work program and position the map on top of the piece I'm going to engrave. I've divided the task into 3 layers. The first one is for scoring the parallels, the second one for engraving the terrain, and the third one for cutting the gores. After selecting the required parameters, I can export them and start the process. The free plans include this file that you can use with the laser's program, called xTool Creative Space. Scoring the parallels is a quick process, more so than I was expecting. You can see it move the piece at great speed. Engraving the terrain is a little slower than scoring logically. Little by little, it engraves all the parts with terrain on the map. You're watching this from somewhere on this laser engraving, and I'm sure you'll recognize it on the video. The last step is to cut the 24 gores of this projection. The laser also makes these cuts at full speed. First, I remove the leftover bits of the board. I'm also going to sand down certain parts of the sheets which were slightly burned by the laser. The most delicate step is to remove the gores. I use a chisel and a very thin spatula, and little by little I managed to pry them off. It seems using this sort of adhesive was a good option for these kinds of projects. I will use the hand router to make a recess that will allow me to install the hangers. I'm going to apply a coat of lacquer on the NDF base of the painting before gluing on the projection. Some of you have asked me a few times what kind of varnish spray I use in my projects. It's this one, a Nitrolac brand matte nitrocellulose lacquer spray. It's designed to be applied on guitars, but ever since I started using it back when I was working as a luthier a few years ago, I haven't stopped using it in my other projects, due to its ease of use and quick drying. I particularly like this matte version because it can get a silky finish with little effort and only a few coats. If you're interested, I'll leave a link in the video description. Now I can glue the 24 gores onto the board. Finally, I decided to separate them and stick them on one by one with cyanoacrylate. All that's left now is to apply 2 more coats of lacquer, and this project is finished. Thank you for watching this video until the end.